From the Nasdaq market site in Times Square, I'm Brad Smith, and you're watching Behind the Bell. Now, to officially end the trading day, the Emma Bowen Foundation will be ringing the Nasdaq closing bell within the hour. You can catch them live on broadcast networks and even here on Facebook Live. But prior to then, to discuss some of the initiatives and great work being done by the foundation, we're joined by their president and CEO, Dr. Rahsaan Harris. Doctor, great to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks so much.
Definitely. For some of the Facebook viewers, can you tell us how Emma Bowen Foundation got its start?
So the Emma Bowen Foundation identifies talent from media and technology companies. We're a diversity pipeline. The start is a combination of industry and advocacy. So Emma Bowen was a real person from Harlem, and she cared about the images of people of color in the news. So she came down to Midtown, met with broadcast executives, and struck a deal. And they said, you know what, we want to put talented people of color in position so that they can become the future of media. And it was their partnership with another person who's a social justice philanthropy guy that created the Emma Bowen Foundation. That was then. Now we recognize that media and technology is much broader. So it's not just the content of media, but it's the business of media and it's the innovation of media. And by diversifying and being inclusive in all three aspects, that we can create new stories and new opportunities that can be profitable, but also share everyone's story.
Absolutely. So thinking about some of the work that's been done over the years, have there been any particular stories that come to mind that touched your heart through the foundation?
So I'll do three very quickly.
Okay.
Number one, Gio Benitez, who's an ABC. He's done Good Morning America. We have Rodney Hawkins, he producer for CBS This Morning. He's now the Southern Bureau News Chief for CBS. That's the content of media. In the innovation of media, Felix Emiliano, he's working at Google. He has a great job as a coder right now. And in the business of media, we have Rokia Gravely. And she is someone who came from the Bronx, is working in sales, and our founding chairman, actually walked her down the aisle for her wedding. So he was a father figure. He was a titan in industry, but he was so touched by her story. He supported her through college, walked her down the aisle, and now she is a woman that is running sales, running revenue within the media industry.
So in some of the companies that you just mentioned, I mean, they're very well-known household names as well. How do you go about generating some of these partnerships, number one? And what piece of advice would you have for other foundations that perhaps want to generate their corporate sponsorships and partnerships and strengthen them to the point where it could be long-lasting, similar to Emma Bowen Foundation?
Well, we have history on our side.
Yeah.
So Emma, Dr. Parker, Mr. Burke got together back in 1989 to create the foundation. And our founding companies were big network companies. They were the cable broadcasters and the MSOs. They were computer companies, and now we have PR companies. And I think the way we continue to deliver is understanding what are the needs of these companies so that diversity isn't about charity. You try to reach innovation through inclusion. And so by really finding ways to harness the messiness of diverse perspectives, to find new market opportunities, to grow revenue, to get different thinking that shores up the quality of what you're producing is the highest it can be, you need diversity. And by having real conversations with our partners about that, I think is what the value that we bring and is most important in making sure that the last 27 years of partnership we have continue much more into the future.
And it's great that you mentioned that too, because at the end of the day, it's not handouts that people are looking for. It's the opportunity to drive business forward. And you know, when we had Star Jones here a little bit ago, she also alluded to that and mentioned that point that this is something that's seen. You know, businesses that practice diversity and do it well, they've seen bottom line impacts and results as you know, as a result of implementing those practices within their organization. So, you know, critical that you mentioned that as well, and hopefully some of our viewers here today can attest to that and heed to that advice too. When you think about 2017 and some of the exciting business plans that you've got going forward and exciting events, what comes to mind?
Well, first and foremost, we are looking for talent right now.
Wow.
Our application is up on our website, so emmabowenfoundation.org.
That camera right there, tell them.
All right, so Emma, EMMABOWEN, foundation.org. You can sign up and register for a website. apply for an internship if you're a college student. So that's the main thing that we do.
Absolutely.
But if you are a high school student that wants to be inspired, register for our website so that you can get our broadcast, our newsletter, because we do webinars and trainings that are in some cases local. And if you're a media professional or a person of color that has the skills that industry needs, we want you to sign up for our Media Professional Network. And you can go to our website right now, register, and get your name to be a part of a larger network of people of color that our 50 partner companies are looking for. So we're really trying to get people to apply as college students. We're trying to get the high school students to get inspired so they can get their portfolio of work and their resumes together to apply for internships. And lastly, we want people of color who are in industry today to be ready for executive positions that our companies have available right now.
Certainly. Now, thinking about the future generation as well, as you mentioned, what piece of advice would you give to that next generation of ambitious entrepreneurs, business leaders, media heads? What piece of advice would you give them into following their dreams and kind of moving forward?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that people who have the ability to span boundaries. So boundary spanners are the folks that can identify opportunities that can lead to higher revenue or finding answers to questions that other people don't ask. I always ask people to look for their Madam C.J. Walker moment. Madam C.J. Walker is the first African-American millionaire that was around in the 1900s. Why did she become the first millionaire? Because she answered a question that other people weren't asking, and then she provided a solution that other people weren't supplying by providing African-American women with hair products. And so if you include diverse people in your team, you'll find Madam C.J. Walker moments that might allow you to get more revenue and expand your markets, not only in the United States, but also abroad.
Absolutely. Rasan, great to have you here ahead of the Nasdaq closing bell, and certainly look forward to the Emma Bowen Foundation ringing the closing bell here today. It looks like we might end on a really good note today, so
Excellent.
you picked a good day to be here.
I want to be good luck. Bring me back. I can do this.
Done deal. We can make that happen.
Excellent.
Great to have you here, Rasan. And thank you all for watching live on Nasdaq's Facebook Live. Stay tuned for more coming from the Nasdaq market site throughout the rest of the day. Next up, closing bell.